Welcome to the AR-15 podcast. This show is for you if you just bought your first AR or if you've been building them for years. There is something we can all do to take our black rifles to the next level. My name is Nick Dooley, and I am joined tonight by my co-hosts, Garth Over.
How are we doing tonight?
When did we get ice cream?
Exactly.
And, hey, it is free cone day here at Dairy Queen and Pier.
Well, missed that.
And,
missed that. That would have been nice to know.
Yeah, I found out about it when my daughter informed me.
Oh, of course.
10
one of the
minutes before
benefits of having one of them running around.
Yeah.
You know what would have been nice to know? When the bridge was going to blow up. That would have been cool to see live.
You didn't know that? I forgot about it. I'm sitting here and all of a sudden I feel the rumble and boom, the dog starts barking and I'm like, oh, great, I missed it. But
now we have the director of propaganda, Joe, with us as well.
Yeah. Evening, everybody.
But no, I know I told you about that.
Yeah, like months ago. I have the attention span of a squirrel, so...
Honestly, the only reason I knew the exact time was because somebody on the Pier Lost and Found Pets said, hey, make sure you know where your dogs are around 9 o'clock tomorrow so that when the boom goes off, they don't go running down the street. Mine just started barking. My doodle did. The golden, he just woke up like, did somebody shoot something? You want to go find a bird? But
yeah, well, it's whatever.
Yeah. She thought she was going to go fight somebody, and she's a little...
Ah, right on. Well, guys, did anybody do anything fun with guns in the last week?
No, I wasted my weekend again throwing darts. But same. I did order some ammo, did order some mags, and have my barrel. So hoping
you have mags as well.
You got that mags came in? Sweet.
Yep.
So hoping to get to the range either tomorrow or Saturday and do some test fires.
I ordered ammo from you, and that's about as much as I got done. I know we've got some stuff going on this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. Joe, are you still going to go to the qualifier, or are you going to stick around?
Well, it's not the super qualifier. It's just one of their normal events, but they do have, like, even their regularly scheduled events out there, they have one or two classifiers amongst their other stages. So I haven't decided if I'm going to head out there Sunday morning yet or not. It'll probably just depend on what I get done around here on Saturday.
Ooh, it's like you're going to have to leave at like 3 a.m. to get out there, right?
It starts at 9. It's a 2.5 hour drive, and I get an hour.
Is it? Oh, I thought they were starting at 7:30 for some reason.
They had a setup. There ain't no way in hell I'll right at them. I'll come shoot, but I'm not going to make it to set up.
Yeah, they tricked me. They tricked me when I went to that qualifier a couple years ago. Like, yeah, I got me there at 7:30. Like, I showed up and I was the first guy there. I was like, this is stupid. I know what's about to happen.
I get you want your locals there to set up, but if you've got people that are coming that aren't club members that are coming from out of town, give them some grace. Yeah. I wouldn't expect anybody traveling from Rapid City or anywhere like that to help us set up. So that's just me.
Yeah. Well, we did do a little bit of training this last week.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm lost. I did something and now I can't find us. I know I'm still here. I can hear you guys, but I don't know where it's at.
Oh.
So I'm going to fiddle around on my computer.
Yeah. Garth and I did a little bit of training.
Yeah.
Training's a bold word for what we did.
Yeah.
We got our certifications again to keep teaching the enhanced concealed carry course. And I even got my certificate in the email today that I am good.
I guess I haven't checked my email. Or does it just come to you because you're the head honcho?
No, you would get your own.
Ooh, really? Well, then I better check.
But anyway.
Hey, look at that. I do have one. Yay.
Yay. And we'll see if Garth can find his screen yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to hit an X button. If I disappear, I'll be back.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, as we went through, I also got to go over and met a couple listeners, that I'd already met before, but had a chance to go meet up with them, and they, I got something that is kind of cool.
No, you got something that's really cool.
That's really neat.
Yeah. So we're going to do this. So if you're watching on YouTube, I would say I apologize, but you should really set up a Rumble account because we make a band for this.
It's possible.
But check out this 3D print. So a long time ago, we talked about my daughter and I building her a unicorn gun. And instead, what we have now is a fire-breathing dragon. Thanks to listener Dirt Racer there, as he happened to be up in Huron. And we have this mounted to her 22. And this is a 3D printed dragon that attaches to the front of your rifle.
No, that is beyond cool. I'm kind of jealous that she got one and I didn't.
Yeah,
but
I need one of those. DM me for my mailing address, or bring them to Cleveland.
I mean, bring them to Cleveland, but I'd put it on my competition 22. And I guess I'm not like dumping it in a barrel or anything like that, so it should be totally fine.
Yeah, we got it put on and installed and attached, which in the business we call that foreshadowing. But no, so we got that put on, and we didn't get a chance to go out and shoot with it yet. But no, did Garth?
No, I'm here. You're just in your own little world, in your own little screen by yourself.
No, I saw you went away for a second.
I was just trying to get your attention without doing what we just did.
But no, so when we go through the rest of it, that was cool. That was fun to do, and will be interesting. It'll be fun to run that. She's excited. I'm excited. Everyone's excited. This is going to be a good time.
And that's when we got ice cream.
Exactly. But no, I know that I'm kind of looking forward to what we have coming up this weekend. Not just for teaching, but also for some testing.
Yes. No, I they're in the garage, and I know what you have, and so together they will be awesome.
Precisely. So be excited for some eternal burning questions that may be answered.
I'm actually looking forward to this because I've had these questions for years.
Yeah, and doesn't believe when I say things.
It's not that I don't believe you. I just don't like to watch everything on the internet and be like, no, okay, I saw it on the internet once. It's correct.
I know.
So I would just like to try it myself to see.
I just used math.
Yeah, math is okay if you're a nerd.
I am a nerd.
Hey, okay. Got in finally. Yay.
Oh, boy.
Yay.
Garth is finally here on the show.
And no, I got back in. I'm in the chat finally after months of being kicked out for whatever reason.
What do you have to do to get banned from chat on your own show?
I don't know.
That's even Aaron has never had that happen to him.
Well, maybe Aaron plays, he plays it safe. I like to live dangerously.
Well, guys, I know that tonight, if you look at the title of this episode, I'm getting attached.
Man, this would have been a good one on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it when we were trying to come up with a theme for that, with it being on that one.
No, that'd have been cool. Sorry, squirreled.
Yeah, that's fine. But so we are going to talk about attachments tonight. And this was kind of Joe's idea to talk about because I know that he has a hate relationship with attaching stuff to your rifle.
Pretty much.
Like super hate?
I'm a minimalist. If I don't need it on my rifle, which basically means if it's not a optic, I'm probably not going to run it. I believe in dedicated tools for dedicated missions, dedicated jobs. So rather than throwing a laser and a light and all of that stuff on my rifle that I'm going to carry around all day, I'm going to build a second rifle that is going to be my, my play in the dark rifle. I hate, and it came up even during the optics discussion, because, oh yeah, you use a holographic with a flip over magnifier. I don't want that much more stuff on it. I remember 2 or 3 years ago, when we went to Ripley to qual, somebody had gone through the vault and put the stupid hand grip on the foregrip of every rifle.
That was because that was the way they came from FN.
No, somebody told me they went through and did it. Like they said, oh yeah, we had them, so we put them all on. And I'm like, why? I understand. Hey, here's your rifle. Here's the optic, because we couldn't store them at the time with the optics on. Here's your stupid foregrip. You want it? No, cool. Leave it at the armory. Instead, we all get to the range and everybody's like, I couldn't shoot because I couldn't put my magazine, the mag well, up against the barricade because that stupid thing was in the way. I'm like, I told you to take them off. But anybody listen? No, because they listened to the other idiots that they thought knew more than me. But
for the record, I was not there.
I am, like, even when we were in Afghanistan, that deployment I did, when we first got there, our SOP was to roll out at midnight, 2 a.m. in the dark. We still didn't have anything more than ACOGs and CCOs on our rifles. We didn't have the laser. We didn't have lights. I don't know what they thought the guys with the ACOGs were going to do if we got ambushed or, hit an IED at midnight in the dark, because it's kind of hard to use when there's no illumination, unless they were going to hold a flashlight above it. And that might be a fun trick too. But
the ACOG does have tritium inside of it as well.
Trying to look when it's dark in Afghanistan and there's no lights, it's not like there's true blackness over there at 3 a.m. and when you're sitting in a deadly funnel for hours on end for some stupid reason we won't get into in this episode. But I'm not like, the more shit you put on a rifle, the more things you put on it, the more things that can break and go wrong. The more things that throw off the weight, that throw off the balance, that get hooked on things when you're in a hurry trying to get out. I have just accepted the ability to run a good 2-point adjustable sling up because I was never running my parade sling. I hated that thing. I'll give the one thing that I'm willing to concede on, and Nick and I, we talked about that with the Hellbreaker, is a finger stop, because one, it doesn't really add anything to it. It's not very big, but it tells you where to index. I am more than happy to C-clamp and hold my rifle like that rather than grab a stupid whatever. I just like the less stuff on it, the better.
I am going to say this, and this is one of those things where I know somebody's going to, when this inevitably gets picked up by AI, I'm going to say this, and when it gets taken out of context, it'll be great, because somebody's going to throw a fit and be like, oh, I saw in a video that this guy did it this way, and you must be saying he's dumb. And I'm not. But I will say this, that when, like with the vertical foregrip that it's generally seen, I mean, like, you see them on, like, that's what everyone thinks of when they think of a standard M4. It's part of the basic rifle issue kit. It has a vertical foregrip. We call it the broom handle. Like, and so this is my hang up with it. To be used effectively, like the finger stop, as we talked about a minute ago, the finger stop is there, but it is an index point. I don't have any of the tall verticals on anything, just because it's not my jam. I do have vertical foregrips on stuff, but I use finger stops or angled foregrips, because even for me, C-clamping, my giant mongoloid hand generally works well with.
You You can see grip a freaking cannon, so.
But, having that, I use the vertical foregrip as an index point, just because it's okay. Yep, I grab a hold and I pull back, and then I wrap from there. But I use it as an index point. I don't grip a hold of it and hold it underneath, because I'm still C-clamping on the barrel. I'm just adjusting that vert grip to where I want to have the index point as a faster and more rapid index point. And that's why I run a lot of the small finger stops or the micro, vert grips or nubbins, whatever you want to call them. And that's a thing for me. And I say that a lot of people were mistrained on how to use them originally, or people got them and went, oh, this is the way I have to run this, because they watched a guy do it on a movie one time. And that is not actually that effective.
And I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying they're pointless. I just don't like them because they don't fit. And again, it goes back to the simpler it is, the less you have to go wrong. That's the same reason in optics, I said, yeah, you throw the magnifier on there. That's one more thing that can break or go wrong. So there's a use for them to a point. And again, it's all my personal opinion. Like, everything I run is as slick as possible.
So you basically, just, if I'm catching the right gist, the military ingrained, you don't need it, so why do I need it in the civilian setting?
Ounces turn into pounds after a while. And again, I wasn't infantry. I'm not infantry. I'm not out hiking. This stuff it isn't going to get to that. But again, like we said last week when we were talking about the PCCs, if you got to run 12 stages on a weekend or 15 stages on a weekend, that's going to start to add up, especially if you're not fit for it. And to me, yeah, it's different. I understand, like in the military or for police officers or SWAT or somebody like that, if they have to go out, you're going to leave the station. It's 3:00. Your shift goes until midnight. You're not going to bring 2 rifles. You're going to bring one that's built to do everything. I get that. But if and I don't even know how to say this without contradicting myself. If you're going to be back before dark, which stuff can hit the fan and you don't make it back, try to, have that adjustment of not having stuff you don't need with you. But again, anything can go wrong. Murphy's Law, don't make that last stop of the night, because it's going to be the one that runs and you end up tracking for hours or something like that. I prefer lightweight, slick. I don't have to carry. The more things you carry, the more tools you have to carry to fix them or adjust them. Like, it adds up, in my opinion. I'm against it.
So what you're saying is we should go out on a walkabout with our AR-15s and our rucks and see how many cops pull us over.
Yeah, I've thought about doing that. We'll go down to someone drop us off in Vivian and we'll walk 83 back, see how many times we get stopped.
I am not someone who does Second Amendment audits, but Vince says ounces equals pounds. Pounds hold pets. Pets are expensive. Expensive stuff is cool. Therefore, ounces equal cool. But
okay. I mean, I did proofs in geometry and stuff like that, and I mean, I think that actually works.
So Robert says he didn't have a choice of a 4.4 grip. He had the 203 on the M4 and the ACOG. And yes, I have also been a part of that before. But as we go through this, I know that when we talk about it, there's a variety of things. Like, you can attach anything to it, to an M4. Like, there is quite literally a baked bean attachment to hold a cannon.
I might go with the chainsaw attachment if I'm ever in a zombie apocalypse. Like, that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah. So, I mean, theoretically, it depends. You're going to run an electric chainsaw, or are you going to run the...
I'll see what I can get my hands on.
So
what state, what level of we're in. If it's we're running on electricity and gas. It's going to be a little difficult.
But no, so like there is all those, and we talked a little bit about foregrips. Joe mentioned lights and lasers. And well, I do understand, and I like. So I put a light on most any of my duty. Like if I'm going to call it like a duty rifle or something that I would have, I like to have a light on it, and that's a me thing. Just because it doesn't matter if it's if I'm running with an LPVO or just a red dot or like one of my night vision guns. If I'm running my night vision gun, one of my night vision guns, I like it to have a light, even though I rarely use the white light under nods. But having the capability is something I like. And yeah, it can get, hung up on stuff. And I'm going to, I will be the guy who argues for stuff on the rifle, but not necessarily having an argument about whether or not you should have it. It's, I think having it where it's policed correctly and doesn't snag on everything is important. And again, purpose-built rifles are purpose-built for different things. Like my competition guns don't have lights and lasers and stuff like that on them. My night vision rifle, 100%, that one does, but I also have a magnifier on it because I went, I have an EOTech. I want to see if this thing works. And it also happens to be my night vision capable, was my most night vision capable optic. So it just evolved into my night vision gun. And then I kept the magnifier on it because if I am out shooting it during the day, because I've taken it where if I'm doing a class or like if I'm traveling for it, I might not want to take 2 or 3 guns. And then I don't want to re-zero lasers and all that stuff. I just want it to all run.
Sorry, I was reading comments as well. No, I agree with you, Nick. I'm a guy that I think attachments are worth having on firearms. Do I need to go overboard and overkill? No. Are there certain things I'd like to try, such as a magnifier? I think so, because for my situation, I just prefer to have a little bit more distance when I shoot sometimes, or just a better optic picture of what I'm looking at through my optic, to be honest. But am I going to run a laser on every gun? No. A light on every gun? Probably not. I'm pretty simplistic where I like a sling, a finger stop for sure. I thought the vertical grip was super cool when I first got into guns, just because that was the picture you saw from the Army. You're like, oh, that looks so cool, I have to have it. And then you actually go out and shoot in competitions, or just like you said, out in the real world where I might be on the farm and see a coyote, and all of a sudden that vertical grip is really getting in the way of me getting out the door of my tractor or pickup to take this coyote down. So the finger stop, I really like those a lot. The primary armor ones actually are my favorite by far as of right now, and they're coming in right now at $25. The Expo Arms M-Lock one, by far my favorite finger stop of all time, because yes, one, it does let you index on the gun. 2, it's a great thing for shooting from a barrier and putting your gun right up on that wall and locking it in, basically, so you can actually have some pressure on it just to get a steady shot for competition and stuff like that. So super stoked about those. Super glad to find one of the greatest $25 pieces of equipment I can put on a firearm.
I think what you got to remember on that, and like you said, Garth, and the same as we've seen is from a lot of people in chat, it's, well, that's what it looked like when we saw it on TV. You have to remember 2 things here. 1, if it was a recruiting ad, it was made by somebody that's never seen the rifles, never actually gone out and played with them, shot them, so they don't even know what we're using. 2, if you're watching anything made in Hollywood, again, they can't even get the uniforms right. So what makes you think they're going to get the firearms right?
Well, it wasn't most that, but it was also definitely some PUBG back in the day, because you load up.
I get.
Like, this is so cool.
I mean, and yeah, Call of Duty is like, I can build this cool looking thing, and if I put the grip on it, I get better accuracy. But if I put the silencer on, they can't see me. But like even they get stuff wrong just because you can't just put everything on it and make it the best rifle in the world.
You can't put a vertical grip on a Mini 14. I know, I have one behind me. It doesn't work.
Well, you can.
Not the one I want.
No, you can. It just requires
Nick, like Nick said, with that slanted grip works really well also as a good barricade, because if you're using the magwell, like we were for a little bit trying to teach our shooters when we switched to that new qualification with the barricade, if you're right there, you only get it's a lot harder to traverse. If you can back that up where you're, at the front of the barrel and holding, it gives you a little bit, it makes it easier to traverse, in my opinion. So like you said, with the finger stop or that vertical grip that actually has that little bit of vertical spot to actually put up against a wall, it works.
Yeah, what we're really coming down to is the broomstick the Army gives out is not the best.
Yeah, and especially though, like, it's even dumber when you get the guys that got the push button ones. It comes out, it makes that stupid little bipod with the weak little legs.
I know.
Another rant to go on, I guess.
No, but one of the best attachments you can have and that's a VZ grip. The unique features of VZ grips, they're machined from a solid block of G10. And G10 is great because it's durable and doesn't get slippery when covered with mud, blood, or sweat. The 17-degree grip angle and wide variety of textures, from mild to extreme, as well as color options and shorty versions are also available. 1911 grips with extreme customizability, standard swim pole saws, thumb notches, safety cuts, bottom profiles, and more. More than 25 textures and 27 colors are available, and there is one code good for 15% off all handgun and rifle grips, and that is AR-15 podcast.
I mean, if you don't have a VZ grip on your gun, what are you doing? Because I have 4 of them. Superb.
So we've talked about.
As Klecker just says, I have a box of bipod grips, a good gun show item because people love that Milsep drunk.
I'm guilty of that.
It's so bad. But okay, so we've talked about whether or not we like attachments, and I said I do like some. How are you attaching them? Garth and I had this conversation with a buddy of ours at a cornhole tournament. He wants to get some stuff. Are you using key mod? I hope not, because that's been out for years. A quad rail with 4 Picatines. Are you going M-lock? Are you just taping it down like the guy that was on the golf course?
I run primarily M-lock. I am a member of the quad rail gang as well, though.
And that's where, when we were talking to Gage about it, I made the comment, I would suggest anybody that's new to the game to go with the quad rail, the Picatine mounts, because almost anything you buy, if you're not paying attention, is likely going to be Picatine mounted.
Yep.
If you're into it and paying attention, yeah, I think M-lock's at the end of the day, is a better option. And that's, again, I run it just like you do. That's, if I'm buying a handguard or an upper, I'm looking for M-lock, not quad rail. But I think it's easier to accidentally buy the right thing when you have a quad rail as opposed to the M-lock.
Well, for one, it's cheaper.
True.
In most circumstances.
I'll say that one's debatable.
Well, I mean, you look at the Picatinny rail mounts you have for your vertical grips and things like that, the angle grips. Okay, maybe not if you're buying the Magpul ones, but the knockoff ones you go to Runnings to get, or you can pick them up at Walmart for like $12.
Or you're buying on Amazon,
or Amazon, yeah.
Chinesium stuff.
Robert says that he just got his first AR. PSA with a 16-inch barrel, 13-inch hand grip, and a 3.5 ergo vertical grip with an Enforce light right above it. Just got his Vortex Strike Fire with dot on it. That is a solid
build.
What?
It's a good build.
That's a solid starter gun. Are there? I'm going to say this is not me picking on you and your rifle. Are there better rifles? 100%. Are there worse rifles? 100%. What you have there is a solid starter gun, and you can get into it and find out what you like or what you don't. those parts are parts that you can put on, take off. You can see if you like it, where you don't, where you mount it. One of my favorite things that I have for mounting lights is actually called the potato chip, and it's an offset for like the in between side or rail M-locks that puts an offset to have a canted light to make it a little bit easier. It takes up less space and has more snag free. And yeah, I know that Klecker says M-lock with full length pick rails, quality rail that can be converted back and forth. There are some slim free float quads, but then you're stuck with full rails. I do like quads. I mean, I even have some hand protectors here for the old quad rail that I have on one of mine, and I run all of them. I think the only thing I don't have is key mod.
No, I have one key mod because I bought it before it was like beta versus VCR, VHS, and I jumped on the wrong train at that time.
You know what I find really funny though, because my first AR was a Ruger SR556, which was a quad rail, and I love that gun. It was super heavy, got rivet. That's one of the two guns I have seller's remorse on. Dumb part on mine, but quad rail, right? And then M-lock came out, and then like 10 years go by, and all of a sudden you can put quad rails on your M-lock. I'm like, oh, so people did enjoy them. They just didn't like the weight, or vice versa, or they wanted to build that clone, so to speak, or whatever. But I just always found it funny that they got away from them because, oh no, they're bulky, they're heavy. You don't want those. You don't want those. And then M-lock builds you a Picatinny rail that you could put on there to put Picatinny rail mounting stuff on your M-lock gun. I'm like, all right, whatever. I mean, it's people are gonna buy it, so.
Well, a lot of it had to do with the slim line, making a slimmer profile handguard, and then they'd put the pick rail chunks on your M-lock so you could use some of your existing stuff. I have some of those. We have our Uper here who says that Arasaka is I have some Arasaka mounts. I really like them because I have some that extend.
If you don't have the Arasaka scope mounting kit, you're cheating yourself, man. You need to. Them things are awesome. But I think that might be
they make a super awesome M-lock finger stop as well, which I have 3 of those, and they are awesome as well. So
yeah, we didn't mean for this to turn into an Arasaka commercial, but
they make some good stuff.
They really do.
At the end of the day, I don't think there's a right wrong if you're going M-lock or quad rail.
No.
The thing about quad rails, especially if you have full length rails, is you get a little bit more option for where you want to mount stuff. You can move it back just a hair, and it mounts pretty good. It can be a little tricky sometimes trying to get crank down your screws on a M-lock to make and adjust where you want it. So
I think what we can all agree on is though no one has time for your key mod bullshit.
I know that a long time ago, one of our original run of episodes, I went down like the ultra nerd rabbit hole, and you could just see Garth's eyes glaze over.
Yeah, probably.
As I started talking about the Crane report and going through like, oh yes, in the Crane report where we talk about drop testing and how M-lock is stronger than key mod and all those things. And like key mod, it's been holding hardware store shelves up forever. And it's just nobody really wants baby dicks on their rifle.
That's probably one of the one thing. That is one of the things with Picatinny though, is you just put it on there, you tighten it up. You're not trying to make sure you're trying to go around your barrel to get, like, if you want to swap something quick in the field, Picatinny is going to be a lot faster.
Yeah. I do like it. There are, like, I have a lot of lights on pick rail mounts. I have one light that's on a quick attach mount, and I don't hate it, but I also just kind of go back and forth because I'm like, I don't really take them off. I just leave it on and run it. And putting it back and forth on seems kind of redundant to me at this point. But that is one of the things, like seeing some of the, again, and things I'm going to get hate for when we chop this up later, saying that I like some of the new crop of economy-based, laser aiming modules that have the light integrated into it, is really a way to look at this, where you're starting to see things come up where it's like, oh, this has IR lasers and it has white light that's comparable to running both. So you no longer have to run a light and a laser and this. So running everything together is kind of nice in my eyes.
Sure.
I just question, you go through, if you're scrolling through social media and you come across somebody's got a picture like, oh, here's all my rifles, and every one of them's decked out with a light and the laser. And it's like, do you even shoot at night? Like, to me, there's just too many people trying to look cool with stuff rather than be functional. Like,
yeah. Well, how many guns do you see of people that that look basically the same, other than the name brand or the color scheme, or
Yeah, they think they're doing something cool and unique, and you're like, yeah, you're like every other geardo out here that goes to the range once a year and just talks, and they shoot like 3 rounds, or let somebody else shoot their rifle and be like, yeah, they can shoot a 1-inch group at 300. Like, well, can you? Because it's your rifle. But,
yeah, I like, again, I do like running lights on a lot of my guns, but that's because I have been known to shoot at night, and I like it for transitional spaces. Like my home defense gun has a light on it; it does not have a laser, and that is because in the event that I am in a situation where, like, the power's out or something, I would still like to have a light that I can use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. If I'm building a rifle to night hunt coyotes, if either whatever I'm going to run for an optic or a thermal with a light, 100% not against it. Even then, like, if my coyote guns have a bipod on them, one of the things that used to just, I don't know why it bothered me. It was deer hunters that had like the 12-inch bipod on their 243. It's like 95% of the time where we hunt, you don't have time you're taking a shot on the move. Like, rarely were we shooting at, because we're walking, we're pushing the deer. We're not sitting in a ground blind.
I was just going to ask, is the deer moving or are you moving?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So that was one of the things, like, why do you have that on there? Because you're never probably going to have a chance to get down. Now, if I'm going coyote hunting, where I know I'm going to be sitting, on the ground probably with my calls and stuff, I've got bipods or the shooting sticks so that I can have that base and that stability. My deer rifles don't have that because I'm carrying them, and I'm probably not going to have time to get down and lay down or sit down and throw the legs out.
Here's one for you, because we've been talking about night shooting with, that's where the conversations went. How many of you guys run a magwell, a bigger magwell on your AR, a feeding magwell? Because we talk about shooting in the dark. How many guys have actually shot in the dark and then reloaded in the dark?
If you reload enough, it doesn't matter. If you train to do it, it doesn't matter to me. It's the difference between shooting my X5 in carry optics versus limited optics. Limited optics, I'm allowed to have the magwell. Carry optics, I'm not. I don't notice a difference. I actually don't even put it back on for carry optics. I don't notice a difference because I've done it so many times.
I had a magwell or an AR for a while. Like, I put on and tried it, and like I've got one lower that has kind of a built-in, larger magwell to help with
a little bit of a flare.
And I can honestly say if I flub a reload, that mag well isn't going to help me because I'm generally like jamming it halfway off.
Yeah.
I don't think they aid anything, but again, that's a personal preference, and it's something that you can do without if you train.
And also, I'm not fast enough to like, oh, the 0.02 seconds this shaves off of my reload time is gonna really move me up a place. Like, I'm not that guy, so I'm not competing at that level, and that's just how I look at it. Again, our Uper says best time to run and shoot drills is at night because a lot of times you're the only one on the range.
I mean, yeah, if your range allows it. I know mine does. It's usually my neighbor's.
Say yours doesn't, Garth.
No, it does. It 100% does. I always just get that text message. Hey, are you at your range? And then I always lie to him and go, no. Just to screw with them a little bit. Actually, it happened when I shot tannerite, blew it up. It was like 5 pounds of tannerite. And he texted me. He's like, hey, man, are you at your range? Oh, man, I'm in my house in town. Oh, man, I think a jet just flew over. All the windows in our house rattled. It must have been a sonic boom. Yeah, that's it.
That is true. But you know what is even truer than that?
If
you're in need of reliable custom Kydex holster, Klecker Tactical is your one-stop shop. Using premium USA source material, Klecker Tactical will build you a holster in a variety of styles and colors along with light and laser options. Whether you're in law enforcement, a competitive shooter, or an everyday gun enthusiast, trust that Klecker Tactical will provide every firearm owner has access to top-tier and personalized holsters, as well as quality and custom products you can't find anywhere else. Use code AR-15 podcast for 10% off at kleckertactical.com.
Do you think he could build us a rail mounted holster for under the AR? I know we were talking about under mounted things on the AR earlier, or would you just put a pistol under there just because it'd be cool?
Well, here's the thing. Like, could you do that? Yes.
Haven't they done that?
No, they kind of did. There's that stock that has a Glock in it.
Yeah.
That like, hey, it's the, like the exhibit meme.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, bro, I heard you like guns, so I put a gun on your gun.
Yeah.
And
if you can find that meme, drop it on our Facebook meme page.
Yeah, but it's having that, but also if you're having it and mounting it on the underside, like if you're going to mount it to an underlug or even on the side, you'd have to make sure that you couldn't fire it while it was holstered.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you would have created an SBR.
Correct. That'd be cool, though.
That and even trying to fire a mount, like how would you mount it to fire it when you have that reciprocating barrel?
Oh, I can tell you how. I have an idea on this.
I love squirrels. Let's do it.
All right,
so attachment. Let's go.
All right, so what you would actually do is this is something that the 3D printing community is. I guarantee you, someone has made this.
Do we need legal references to this right now? Like, don't do what we say or.
Oh no, I'm just 100% saying if you do this, you're probably creating an illegal SBR.
And we are not lawyers.
Yeah, I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice. You should not do what some random weirdo on the internet says. But you could. There's a multitude of ways to do this, but when you put this on, it's when you. Oh, here we go. And Gideon Optic says, I'd prefer a mag funnel and mag extensions for combat as well. Even if I was good at pistol reloads, and I'm not, I'll take the chance at something that reduces my error chances. And yeah, that's so I understand that. There are guys who like them. I will always run mag extensions. Like, I'm down with that. I want as much ammo as I can have in the gun. The best mag is a belt fed. But anyways, back to my squirrel topic.
Yes.
If you put a pick rail attachment or an M-lock attachment, however you wanted to do it, and then came out to the side, say, I'm just going to say like an inch so you don't run into
a little more than the width of your slide.
Yep, and then came down maybe 1.5 to 2 inches. Then put another pick rail attachment
And mount to the
you can mount that to the pick rail of your handgun and then have that mounted to your rifle, which then you argue, did you mount a rifle to your pistol or a pistol to your rifle? It's like gunception.
Yeah.
Here, Matchpoint USA has AR holsters, and yes, I'm late on that answer. But no, so theoretically you could, but that's not the way I would prefer to run it. There is one attachment I do think everyone needs to have on their rifle, and that is a sling.
I was just looking them up, man. The 3 I like.
A good sling.
Like, yeah, I'm looking up the good ones.
A good sling.
Padded, nice.
Yeah.
Not, again, don't try to clone the stupid military version and go with a parade sling. The things are junk.
Yeah. Like, obviously, we've
Dooley has a sling on his shotgun. He's the only guy I know that carries his shotgun on his shoulder when we're walking fields.
Yeah.
So
100%. I like slings.
Ooh, cool. So we were talking, Nick, you and I and a buddy today about slings, and he had said Viking Tactical, and I've never actually ran a Viking Tactical, but I'm on their website right now, and they've got some pretty sweet looking stuff.
Yeah, VTech does a lot of really good work. I like the Flatline a lot, just because I've run them, to the woods, like all over. But the VTech sling is one of the best slings around, and they have a padded one as well. And I mean, I'm going to say this, and this is one where I will get hate. The slide slings, a lot of those are more or less the same. At some point, there's some variation of the original Vickers sling, and then the VTAC and all of that. Kyle Lamb's an amazing human being. He's also from South Dakota, but when you go through, so here we go. Yeah, I love my Flatline. That's I really like them. I have a pile of Flatlines. I also have a bunch of the Magpols. Like I run the Magpul MS4s a lot. They're a good sling. I just preferred moving into a padded sling because, well, it's slightly more comfortable.
Well, I don't want to brag, but we talked about slings maybe a week or two ago, and we brought a breaker and their slings, and they had a good amount on the website, and now they're sold out. So, come on, help us out, guys. But no, if you guys do want a super awesome padded sling with retention and everything like that, the Riker sling, it's $100 sling, but they have some awesome slings.
Slide slings are LARPer fidget spinners.
Oh yeah, 100%. But it's also a holster.
I will say that.
So is my safety when I know I don't have a mag in it, drill or waiting at the range. It's like, oh shit, stop playing with that.
No, I do like it. The Riker sling is nice because once you set it, you really don't need to run the slide on it anymore. And
practicing some of the events that we were working on, moving from a standing position or on my way down, I found it a lot easier to yank that thing back because it allowed me to move the rifle out to get into a prone position. So, I mean, there is.
Oh, I'm saying this one
use for it.
The one brand of sling, Riker, you can, because it has the bungee built in as well. It holds to your body. Once you get that set, you really don't need to run the slider anymore.
Just use the bungee to get that.
Yep, to get that movement that you need to, after you swim in and out of the sling and things of that nature. But let's go through here and let's talk about attachments you need, because we've already said there's a bunch of them that you probably don't. I said there's one attachment everyone needs, and that is a solid sling.
I'm going to go with an optic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, you can go out. I mean, are iron sights technically an attachment?
Some, yeah, because you can buy a rifle that doesn't have any on it. So if you're gonna put the Magpul buoy or something like that, unless you have the A4 type or A2 or M4 type front sight post, and then don't have a carrying handle, there aren't many that you don't have to attach a. So yeah, if they can come off, they're an attachment, in my opinion.
Okay, well that's fair, but I think everyone has at least maybe 1 or 2 sets of iron sights laying around. I know I have at least 4 of them in my desk over there right now.
I think there's a lot that sold a lot of company or a lot of rifle manufacturers threw those Magpul ones on there. So and then people just pull them off to put their 3x9 on because it's too big for their rifle. But
yeah, they threw them on there, and then if you wanted to go, you give them to a buddy. You just need some iron sights. Here you go. These little plastic things, and then oh crap, I need a set of those. And you go to the store and you try to buy them, and they're freaking $100 or $55 a piece. It's not a set, a piece. Highway robbery.
And so that comes down to what are you shooting, and do you need the backups, the buoys? Like if you ever anything like so, again, military based knowledge here. If you're running the RCO, the ACOG, we don't run the buoy, the backup iron sights. If you're running, because it should be good unless it gets shot or something. Now, if you're running anything with a battery where the battery can die or not work, that's where we run a buoy. So I wouldn't put backup sights on my brace gun just to go. I mean, if my dot goes down at a rate during a match, I'm just going to be SOL. Because I'm not going to do any good with the irons guaranteed.
Well, not on your PCC, you won't, because it actually does have the black center dot.
That one it would, but that's a prism.
He's talking about a real red dot.
I'm talking like a aim point or the red field I've got on my M20 or my 1522 or something like that.
Now,
so
Robert here asked one question, and what is the best 1 to 8 LPVO? Well, everyone gets silent and goes,
whichever one, honestly, without picking sides, whichever one you can afford, and honestly, look through multiple ones if you have the opportunity, because different glass is going to work better or worse for different eyes, depending on how good your prescriptions are or your eyesight is. I would say you have to try it out.
Yeah, I'm going to say that there's some that are just overpriced and don't matter. Like if you have $3,000 to spend on a Night Force NX8, I mean, good for you. We're always looking for show sponsors. But
just send us a couple cases of ammo.
But like when you're coming down, we're going to talk about price range and things of that nature. There's a multitude of things that go into it. I think getting the best optic for your money is important. For a lot of years, I ran a Vortex Strikefire. Like I've still got it. I've used it on all kinds of stuff. I've beat the hell out of it. It's been a pretty solid optic. I have a Swamp Fox that's been delightful. Oh, Vince says the NX8 is only $1,700 now. I'm sorry, I misquoted. But like I've been testing the Gideon first focal plane, and I'm really, really impressed with it. I think that there's still a little bit of improvement to be had on it, just because we're going to have a bigger review of it coming out. My only real complaint is eye relief, and that's a problem with first focal planes, especially on LPVOs. A second focal plane is going to have better eye relief just because it doesn't need to be as precise. And arguably you get into whether or not you need first focal plane with a 1 to 8. It's cool. I like it. There's a lot of things that you can use that are enhanced when you do that. I have not found anything bad from them. And I would, again, kind of like Joe said, find the reticle you like the most, and then find the glass that likes your eye the most.
And it's also going to vary on what you plan on doing with it. I mean, for most people, if you're gonna go shoot prairie dogs or maybe dabble in like
do not buy the Monstrum.
Duly is spoken.
We won't tell you which one to buy. We'll tell you stuff not to buy. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's
you ask us if we should buy it. We'll say, yeah, it's good, or definitely don't buy. That's probably where we're better.
Yeah, Vince is taking the Guardian 1 to 10 and going coyote killing this weekend. Yeah. So we don't have an optic sponsor.
We don't.
But I've had good luck with some Swamp Fox stuff. I've had good luck with Gideon stuff. I know that Garth's really digging all their Prism optics, and yeah, here you go. Gideon Optics is in the chat over on Rumble, and he says, "I probably have a Strike Fire laying around the house still. Was ahead of its time," and it 100% was.
Mm-hmm. That's what they were first to market with it, and that they had a reputation of making good stuff. They were first to market, and a lot of people ran it. I have one on it's not on my race gun right now because it's got the red dot, but I never had any issues with it.
Yeah. And I too have really liked said I've run a multitude of stuff. I can tell you the other one that I disliked the most, and the other one that I like, my least favorite 1 to 8 optic I've ever used is from Right On. And it was their first gen 1 to 8 first focal plane. And that optic I got was just kind of a turd.
It was hot trash.
Like they may have changed stuff now, but it really turned me off on a lot of their stuff. I was like, this thing's just kind of ungood.
And if you actually are looking maybe to go cheaper right away until you find the right one, Primary Arms does have a lot of refurbished stuff you can get for a decent price, because that's where I started with my first LPVO was a 1 to 8 Primary Arms, and ran it for a number of years until I broke it. The scope didn't break, I broke it, but I had no problems with the Primary Arms. I mean, there's a whole plethora of companies out there that do good work. And yeah,
for the average person, you're not going to tell the difference in most of them.
No, that's probably true. Let's just go check what they've got.
Yeah.
Find something that's on sale. Find something used, maybe on tax swap or something like that, and just test it out. You can always resell it. That's the nice thing about buying used. You can usually get your money back.
Yeah.
If you want to test out stuff within, if you buy it, run it for a couple months, be like, this stinks, you can probably get what you paid for it back if you're willing to wait.
Oh, but you know what else is nice? And you can always get your money out of? Awesome stickers. And if you need awesome stickers, you can check out Sticker Phantom. They have all kinds of base stickers, like Based Bluey, and, of course, our Steamboat Willie. Now, you can get these and so much more. They produce all of our stickers, and you can get yours for 10% off with code ARPodcast. Now,
do you have a minimum run?
What's that?
Garth, does he have a minimum run that they got to buy?
Yes, I believe so. Don't.
You can probably, if you need to find that out, they can.
I think it's 100 or 50, one of the two. Don't quote me on that, because I bought in bulk, so I wasn't worried about a minimum.
You're like, I just need a lot.
I need stickers, and now he went, I got you.
All right. Well, guys, we're coming up on an hour here. Let's start wrapping this up and come down to our final thoughts on attachments.
No key mod, M-lock. You need at least 3 good attachments. An optic, in my opinion, a sling, and possibly some type of hand or finger stop in the front. Oh, shoot. One thing we didn't even talk about. No, I'm not going to go there, because that's a whole nother episode. We're talking attachments. Come on. the front, the thing that goes boom, when it goes shrinky shrink, and it's not as loud.
Oh, you mean like the thing we did where we talked about silencers a month ago?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That could be a whole different episode. And I don't look at that as an attachment because you almost have to have one of them. It's not really optional. You gotta have something. For the most part, you should have something on the front of your barrel.
That's fair.
Especially in an AR, you're not running a crown barrel. So
yes, you are. Even if it's threaded, there's still crown.
You know what I mean? It's not.
Sorry.
Damn you,
you're
What? Like, nope, there's still crowd. There's most.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. But for the most part, you're buying one, something's coming on it. It's not usually something you're buying on the aftermarket side unless you're trying to upgrade.
Yeah.
So, but I think Garth's right. That's a whole different topic podcast.
Yeah, I will say that. So, Joe, what do you say you need to have for attachments?
I'm in agreement with a sling, an optic. I mean, because you can't shoot without one. You got to be able to know.
Oh, you can, but it's called.
Well, you can, but
right.
You get sent home from schools for doing that. You need to know where your bullet's going because that's part of 4 rules firearm safety. I'm okay with some sort of smaller minimalist type finger stop, but again, it's build to what you need, build to what your tool is going to be used for. If you're only running at night and you've got the night vision and all that, cool, run a laser. If your rifle never goes anywhere but the range and you don't even own night vision, why are you putting the laser and the illuminators on it just because it looks cool? That's a waste of money you could have spent on ammo or training. So it all comes down to personal preference. I'm with Garth. Finger stop, sling, optic. You don't need, if you want to run other stuff, it to me is a waste. But
yep, I will say, again, optic, sling, and the only other thing that I will say, like I might not say finger stop, I might say it like that comes down to a personal preference.
Yeah.
And again, it comes down to how many rifles you own and those things and what you're doing with it. But I talk a lot about the general purpose rifle. Like I think of it as like, oh, you've got one rifle because not everyone has 30 of them. I'm a big believer in having a light. Just because, again, if you're keeping it beside your bed, I like the option of having a light. The best light, weapon mounted light, is this light switch on the wall. But if you don't have that option, I do like having a proper rifle light, not a pistol light that you mount into your rifle. And so having a proper rifle light, I think, is important as well. Those are the 3 things I would say: have an optic, have a sling, and have a light.
Yeah, I have no qualms against putting a light on your rifle if it's your home defense rifle next to your bed. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. Again, it's just remember, if you're looking down the hallway and that guy's in the other room, he sees that light, he knows you're coming. There's a lot to it on training and knowing whether you're giving yourself awareness.
Positive target identification.
Turn on your lights. But that's why, or talk to your robot overlord and have it turn everything red and start playing crazy music. I mean, that's fun too.
Yeah.
Now we can't find the comments, so I don't know who made it. But I was just browsing around on Primary Arms, and right now they have a Classic Series 1:6:24 SFP rifle scope, illuminated duplex reticle for $200, brand new. So.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah,
if you shoot it to the point where you break it, then go buy a good one. If you don't, that's like a lot of the stuff. Back to, I can't remember who said it, who just got that PSA, like shoot the thing until something breaks and then upgrade that part, and then keep shooting it until something else breaks and upgrade that part. Replace the stuff that you're gonna break, that breaks, and you're gonna be sitting on a decent rifle.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, you got anything else to add tonight before we sign off?
Yeah. They know what I'm going to say. Guys, you should check out Patriot Patch, patriotpatch.co for all your patch going needs. They have the Patch of the Month Club. They have tin signs. I've got one right next to me. It says, I'm your Huckleberry. I love that sign a lot. Look at that. Joe's got.
We got this guy.
Beautiful patches.
I don't know where he got my silhouette from, or my build from, but I should get some kickback for
that. And hopefully, well, we'll not talk about that right now. But guys, go check out Patriot Patch, patriotpatch.co. Jake and the guys do a fantastic job. And because they enjoy freedom, they moved to South Dakota where we live because we enjoy freedom. So support them so they can enjoy even more freedom.
Huzzah. Joe, you got anything?
Yeah, follow like us on Instagram, Facebook, Rumble, YouTube. Same with any of the other, our sponsors, anybody in the gun industry, anybody in the firearms industry, whether it's trainers, maybe not the gun bunnies, but share their stuff so it spreads. That's the best way to get the word out and help us grow and build this community is when our fans are sharing our stuff. So
yep. And now you guys all know what I'm about to say. When we get here, my thing is, guys, go out, get training. Remember, you are your own first responder. No one is coming to save you. Go out, get training, get medical training. And remember, you folks out there, you stay safe and stay armed.